Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And in this video we're working on the boat again. I think this is part 4, and what we're doing is removing the decals. So I started removing the 22 part, and we're going to remove this part. I'm going to show you like the easiest way to remove the decals. So we already removed it on the other side, and I'll show you how it came out. And this side was already, buffed and waxed, compound and waxed. It's okay. I mean, the wax is on there. It's not a great wax job, a compound job. This is an old boat. It's going in the water. It's not going to look bad, even the way it is now. It's not like a high gloss finish like you see some of these other professional guys buffing and waxing their boats. But you can see here how much we got it out. And it's still, there's still a shadow of it. But we got it off. And I'm going to show you how to get the decal off and the glue residue. And what I'm thinking about doing is just getting a decal that goes completely over that. It's about 6 feet or 60 inches in total. And that'll cover up that catch-22. And the boat's going to look really nice with that, with a decal on it. Then we're going to paint the bottom. I ordered the paint and from a website. And it's going to come here. And we're just gonna, paint the bottom as best as we can, and it's gonna be fine. We're gonna give it one coat, and this is cheap bottom paint, but we'll go over that once the bottom paint gets here. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how my method is in removing the decals without damaging the gel coat. And that's probably the most important part that a lot of people are afraid of, is damaging the gel coat. But let me show you how it's done. So the tools I'm using are, you see I have a heat gun, a 4-inch scraper. Now you could use basically any scraper, but a 4-inch scraper I think works best. And then to remove the residue decal, we're using acetone, Clean Protect, Pass Guide, and you just rub it in and it comes out, and I'll show you that too. So I already started removing some of the decal. So you can see there's some residue left over, and the heat gun is not going to get that off. You can't scrape that off. You need the acetone, and this is very strong acetone. That's the same stuff that ladies use to remove nail polish remover. That would work too, but you need something, concentrated with a lot of power to get it off. And let's start taking off this catch-22. This didn't take long at all. The other side took a lot longer because I didn't have this method. This method is much better. Let's go ahead and start doing that, and I'll show you. Okay, so basically what you want to do is you want to turn on the gun. And what you want to do is you don't want to heat the actual decal. You can heat it up a little bit just to warm it up. But what you want to eventually do is heat up the actual scraper like that. And then the scraper is going to get hot enough where it's going to heat the... Now I'm doing this, I'm holding it with my armpit, so it's very, okay. So you want to heat up the scraper like that. See that? And it comes off. And you're not heating up the gel coat or the boat. You're simply heating up the scraper, and the heat on the scraper is going to get it off. You could try to peel it off after, but this is the best way without damaging the gel coat or anything, or putting heat on the boat itself. So we have some that's taken off like that. So sometimes if you have a helper, you could actually, it'll sort of like peel off, but I'm trying to do it with one hand, so it's difficult. And it peels right off. So if you had a helper, they can heat the decal, and then you can peel it off a lot easier. But once the decal gets cold again, it tends to want to stick. So that's how you do it. You basically take the heat gun and heat up the scraper, and it just comes off. You just take your time. There's no, just like that. Just take your time, and it'll start peeling off. Yeah, so we'll heat up the decal, get it nice and hot, and then you can start scraping. You can even heat up the tool. Get that nice and hot. So we got that all off, and I'm going to take off the seat, and then I will show you how to use the acetone. Okay, so all the decals are off, and it took 15 minutes. You know, it would have been a little faster if I wasn't videoing, and I'm sorry for the camera shake because I was holding it under my armpit. I didn't have a tripod with me. So what's happening now is the machine is cooling off and it's shutting down. You could just simply unplug it. It doesn't just turn off, it kind of cools itself off. But now we're just going to remove the acetone, not the acetone, we're going to get the glue off. And then I'm going to go ahead and compound and wax the boat. But I mean, that's a simple thing. You just put the compound on, compound the whole boat, wipe it down, you wash it first, get all the dirt off, and then you give it a wax, and the boat should be good. And then this rub rail, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Armor All on it, and that'll bring back the blue color that it has. And I'm going to Armor All this later on, clean the glass, make it nice and shiny. And this is going to come out really nice too with the wax and compound, this part, the Grady White stripe. Now, I'm not sure if this boat was beige in the beginning. I think it was, because Grady Whites are usually like a beige color. This is the original color. But the color faded out completely, so now the boat is white. And the beige color went out, but I like the white, it's fine. And that's what we're gonna do. So let me show you how to do the acetone. Guys, so for the acetone, you wanna get a rag like this, and you wanna use the abrasive side of it, not the smooth side. I guess you could, but I've been using the abrasive side. So you just wanna pour it on like that. You know, get it on generally, because this stuff dries out and you're gonna need a lot. You need a lot of this stuff. And then you want to just take it and just rub it on like this until all the glue comes off. You know, the other thing you could do is you could dab it on and let it soak in a little bit. I mean, if you guys know a better way, you can leave a comment. But I found this is one of, you need a little muscle work in this. See how it comes off, and some of the color from the rags. So you want to get white rags. Then you can use paper towels to get the yellow off. And you can see how the glue comes off. And you just want to rub this all out, and then maybe go over with a couple of passes. But that's how the glue comes off. You got to get that glue off, because you can't compound it out, you can't wax it out, you need like a chemical to get it out. And we found the acetone is the best thing. You know, depending how beautiful you want your boat to look, depends on how much you're gonna compound and rub it. I mean, I guess you could use the buffer to do it, put it on the buffer and buff it out. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe it'll be easier with the spin, but that's how I got it out. You could even see, like here, was taking off some of the the blue off the sticker, so you could just wipe it down. You could even use acetone, I guess, to clean the boat. Just like that. Look at that. Cleans off all the dirt. It's cleaning off all. Look at that. Wow. This is the first time I'm trying that. This is really cleaning the boat. This acetone's getting all the stuff off. Here's a little gel coat that's missing. You could even clean this, the rub rail, get all the dirt off of that before you compound it. You can see it already, like how blue that's coming out. And this acetone does a lot. It really cleans the boat. So let me go ahead and finish acetoning all this off. This is going to take longer than heating off the stickers. And then I'll show you how it looks after. All right, guys, so you can see the difference between with the acetone. Big difference in color. You're not going to get this whole thing out. This is like embedded in the paint. The color from when the sticker was originally put on, but it came out. And the way to clean it, to get it nice and clean, is you got to use a rag, a shop rag, or a cleaner rag to get off whatever the rag couldn't get off, the cloth rag. So I'm going to go ahead and finish taking off this residue and then clean the whole boat, and then we'll get back to you. Okay guys, job is done. So don't forget, this is a 1986 boat. I got the decals off. I compounded the boat. I bought compound online and wax, and it went a long way. I have probably compound and wax for the next 10 years, but you can see, I mean, it looks pretty good. There's somewhat of a shine on it. It's marine wax, so perhaps this is like, this wax has something to do with salt, that it kind of like repels salt, maybe. I don't know. I didn't really get into reading it. I just bought something that was marine. Supposedly marine has some things in it. There's still some wax residue on the side here. That I just, you know, we're amateurs, we're not professional compounders. I had a basic wheel buffer, and I used rags. The buffing pad ran out because the buffing pad that I used to put the compound on, I rinsed it out. It's right there on the edge here. So I didn't want to like use that wet on the wax. These, I bought compound pads, but they were too small. That's like a 12, 13 inch pad. These are for 10 inch. But I mean, for what it is, it's gonna go in the water. It's waxed, it's clean. The next step is to clean the top side. So we got this done. We're gonna paint the bottom. I bought a can of blue bottom paint. It's number 25, which means that it's for 1 year. So the higher the number, the more concentrated it is with the copper. So this is supposedly for 1 year, but I think it'll last longer than that. You know, it depends how much you use it. So this boat's gonna come out of the water once a year. I might even get rid of the trailer and just hire somebody to take the boat out of the water and bring it to my house, or leave it at the marina and then go work on it there. Just depends on how much they charge. So the boat looks clean. I mean, there's some, you know, some things and somewhat. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect boat. Again, it's a 1986, but it is what it is. I mean, well, I'm happy. See, there's a little bit here that I could feel there's some wax left, but it's wax, so it's okay. You can see it's on my hand. I just wanted to get it waxed, get some wax on there for the season, and that should be good enough. Next year, maybe I'll get a better machine. Maybe I'll sell the boat, get a bigger boat, or a different boat, a newer boat. But this is a nice boat. You know, this is a Grady White 22.3. It's got a 2-stroke engine. If I ever come across like a 200 4-stroke, because I don't think they make 175 4-strokes, they make 150s. I might put it on. You know, and get like the transom brackets, the metal, or that helps the transom a little bit. The other thing I bought scuffers for here. Atwoods, I bought them online, so we're gonna put them in. So we need scuffers for that. That's the next step. We put the well, I'll show you that next time. So the back here is all compound and waxed. When the boat is in the water, I'm gonna take the cover off and compound and wax that, make that shiny, try to make it look as nice as it can. But this 175's got a lot of power. My friend had one on his 20-foot boat, and that boat was going 40 miles an hour. This engine is a beast of an engine. Again, it's 2-stroke. you know, you've seen it running. We think it's running good. And yeah, here's the other side. It's all wax too. You know, we're looking at, again, to getting decals to put on here to cover up this catch-22. So we're gonna see how much it is. You know, the guy, my friend who's working on the electronics on this boat, said his friend does decals, and he's gonna see if we can get maybe like a sailfish or a shark, something that's colorful that I want to put on here to make the boat pop. You know, nothing like gray or black, something colorful. So it looks good. I got the stickers for the for 2023. We got to put those on, and yeah, boat's looking good. So far so good. See, like if you look at from here, you know, it's a little dull, but again, you know, I'm not a professional. What I love about this boat is look at the size of the bow. I mean, holy smokes. You know, this is a dry boat, you know, depending on it, but you're gonna stay pretty dry in this boat. I have the Bimini top. We're gonna do a video on that, putting that on. I can see there's wax down the line here. I'm gonna get a rag and just go over that by hand, just to get that wax residue off. And I put the wax on by hand. I took it off with a buffer, and I used just rags on the buffer to get it off. It wasn't a high-speed buffer like these guys that I see online. They have these high-speed buffers. I didn't want to buy one. They're like 200 bucks. You know, $200. They sell them used for like 100. And you know what? It's fine. You know, it's waxed. It's gonna be in the water. It's gonna sit there. It's gonna get full of salt and whatnot. Then we're gonna wash it. It's gonna wash the wax right off anyway. Once we start cleaning it with soap and water, this detergent, that's what they use. I've seen them do it on commercial boats. They just use regular Dawn dish soap or whatever crap, the cheapest shit they can get. As long as it makes soap and suds and it gets the salt off, that's all they care about. You know, next step is, like I said, once it's in the water, we're gonna clean the glass. It's gonna look sparkly. I gotta get a windshield wiper for that. And the boat's coming along. The bilge pump is in. I'll show you a video of that with the water coming out. Maybe in the next video when I do part 5 of the electronics, the salt water wash down. That's already installed. You can see here's the hose for it, right? So that's good to have. There's also fresh water in this boat. You know, again, once the boat is in the water and we want to do stuff, you know, we want to get the fresh water wash down on, we can do that. It is potable water. I was thinking about removing it and make it into and put a fuel tank there and try and somehow connect it to the main tank, and that'll be another 30 gallons of fuel. So then this boat will have 130 gallons of fuel on the boat, because you know, you could bring your own water. You don't need to have water on the boat sitting, because the more weight you add to it, the slower the boat goes, pretty much. So like, you know, when you have a lot of people on the boat, you're weighing it down and it's just slower. It's slower to get on plane and whatnot. So if I'm gonna fill it up with water, I'd rather fill it up with fuel. This way we have more fuel on the boat. And we'll have 130 gallons, and you'll have an insane range on this boat. And I'm sure this boat does good in the water. I mean, look at that bow. Grady Whites have awesome bows. There's a couple of the boats out there that have bows like this, but most of them have a more straight bow. You know, this has a nice curvature on the outside, which is what makes this boat seaworthy. You know, when you're going over waves, it's gonna cut through the waves pretty nicely. It's got a big, deep V. You know, and then it kind of smooths out towards the back. But I think all boats are like that. And yeah, so boat's all waxed on the outside, clean, nice and pretty. I got the gunk off. This is good enough. Believe it or not, a guy quoted me $3,000 to clean the top, clean the sides, and paint the bottom. Whatever he was gonna do. That's without sandblasting off the old bottom paint, which you can see where the boat sits, like sort of like right here. You know, this ain't even hardly in the water. The boat's like sits right on that brown line, and the bottom paint is still on there, and that's probably 25. You know, and there's really a lot of it left. It's mainly in the front that it came off. So we're just going to try to scrape off what we can, throw a coat of bottom paint on there. It's good to go. It's going to be good. You know, whoever did it before, they didn't do a great job here, but we're going to try to fix that with some tape, make it a straight line as best as we can. Again, we're not professional boat guys. We're amateurs. We're not the greatest fishermen, but we're going to make some fishing videos while we're on this boat. I'm going to go out by myself, catch some fish in Barnegat Bay. You know, on a nice day, maybe I'll go out. I'll be courageous. Take the boat out 20 miles. You know, maybe we'll catch some cope, some nice fish. Who knows? Maybe a tuna, blackfin, yellowfin. Who knows? Big eye. But you know, we got to fix that scupper, that thing there. There's another one on the other side we have to fix. I don't know how that broke off, but it's broken. But yeah, like I said, the horn's on. Boat's nice. So hopefully we get a nice sticker. If not, you know, we'll just leave it like that. You really can't see it too much, but it's off. It's the best we can do to get those stickers. I just didn't like the name Catch 22. You know, there's a movie out there that's called Catch 22. Even though there's a 22-foot boat, you know, I know it's catching fish, but it's not calling catching fish. It's fishing. Maybe Fishing 22, or, you know, Fish Machine, Fish Master, Fish Hunter, something, you know, some cool name like that. But I'm probably not gonna put a name on it. I'm just gonna put a nice decal here, which will make the boat look nice. And if anything, I'll put my daughter's name and my niece's name on the back here. You know, small letters. You know, one name there and one name there, and that should be nice. But yeah, I'm very happy with what it is. I mean, there's a lot of nice boats out there for good prices. I mean, cheap. This boat was cheap too. Very cheap, you know, but I put a little bit of money in it. You know, the trailer alone is probably worth what I paid for it almost. You know, these trailers, people pay you $1,500, $2,000. It's a roller trailer if they're really desperate for one. It's got a new stand on it. I put new cables on that. This works, the winch works. So I mean, it's a good trailer. It's not a bad trailer. We're probably gonna grease it before we take it out. And yeah, this is JohnAvanti. Hope you liked the video. Stay tuned for part 5. Peace out and God bless you.